This piece of pottery was a colonialware created by an enslaved African American in the Edgefield district of South Carolina. It shows exaggerated anthropometric features similar to the style of face jugs originating from Congo, where most of the enslaved in South Carolina came from. The Edgefield district, at the time, was one of the most well-known pottery manufacturing companies in the southern United States, and Abnum Landrum, a white man, is credited for the success of the district's pottery. He came up with a specific glaze formula unused by previous potteries, the alkaline glaze. This special glaze of Edgefield pottery is part of the reason for the success of the district. But less talked about is a deep narrative of the enslaved potters of Edgefield and their cultural resistance through creative expression. Any enslaved African arriving in the New World was immediately met with cultural oppression. Their religious freedom was cut, and any expression of their cultural identity was diminished. Their African names are first erased and replaced with an evangelical alternative. Then, they would be forbidden from using any language other than English. And finally, any form of creative expression was banned, such as singing. There left no room for an enslaved person's humanity to thrive. No room for the enslaved to actively resist under the vast land of America, where all governments and people were against them. Therefore, the cultural resistance of the enslaved was expressed through discrete ways, and in the Edgefield Pottery District, it was through pottery. One of the most well-known figures of the Edgefield district was Dave Drake, an exceptional potter and a literate enslaved person. In Drake's pottery, he often references verses from the Bible and expressed his dedication to Christianity. One quote by Dave states, "Dave belongs to Mr. Miles, where the oven bakes and the pot boils." In this quote, he specifically writes on his lack of personhood. It is clear that through his literacy, Drake presents himself as an enslaved person who is by the books, submissive, obeying, and most importantly, a devout Christian. And yet, despite his performance of Christianity, there's a distinct part of Drake's pottery, the Landrum cross, that bears a striking resemblance to African culture and heritage. The Bakongo cosmogram, Dikenga dia Congo. This symbol meant nothing for the white buyers, but it was a discreet way of expressing cultural identity. In the Edgefield district, when the white Americans of the pottery stations allowed time for the enslaved to create pottery for their own sake and not for buyers, they created these African anthropometric face jugs, a homage to the style of pottery used in Congo. It shows that even with the great attempt of African cultural genocide that the Europeans devoted themselves to enforcing, culture is not disintegrated by law or words, for it is a memory. When the oppressed are given creative liberty, the art that they create will be based on memory, and not the culture their oppressors enforced.